Welcome to SurePass, where we share for you to learn and succeed. In this video, we will be discussing self-defense as one of the justifying circumstances. Self-defense. Self-defense is the use of force to protect oneself from an attempted injury by another. Ito yung first na justifying circumstance. Bago natin masabi na may self-defense, itong tatlong requisites na ito ay dapat meron. First, unlawful aggression on the part of the victim. Second, reasonable necessity of the means employed to prevent or repel such aggression. And third, lack of sufficient provocation on the part of the person resorting to self-defense. Let us discuss each of the requisites. First requisite, unlawful aggression. Ito yung pag-atake o pagsalakay ng victim sa offender. Unlawful aggression on the part of the victim is the primordial element of the justifying circumstance of self-defense. Without unlawful aggression, there can be no justified killing in defense of oneself. Itong first element or requisite, ito yung pinaka-importante sa tatlong element ng self-defense. Bago natin masabi na yung pag-atake o pagsalakay ay pasok sa self-defense, may tatlo din itong elements. First, there must be physical or material attack or assault. Example nito, sakit, bugbugin, susuntukin, or babarilin ka na. Second, the attack or assault must be actual or at least imminent. Noong pinagtanggol mo yung sarili mo, dapat on the act na siya na sinasaktan ka na or on the act na sasaktan ka pa lang. Third, the attack or assault must be unlawful. Hindi justified yung pananakit sa'yo. Nabanggit natin kanina sa second element ng unlawful aggression na dapat yung unlawful aggression ay actual or at least imminent. Ito actually yung dalawang klase o kind ng unlawful aggression. Actual or material unlawful aggression and imminent unlawful aggression. Actual or material unlawful aggression means an attack with physical force or with a weapon, an offensive act that positively determines the intent of the aggressor to cause the injury. Ito yung moment na sinasaktan ka na mismo ng victim. While sinasaktan ka physically, doon ka gumante at sa pagganti mo, namatay siya. Imminent unlawful aggression. Imminent unlawful aggression means an attack that is impending or at the point of happening. It must not consist in a mere threatening attitude, nor must it be merely imaginary, but must be offensive and positively strong. Dito naman wala pang physical attack pero malapit na or andyan na waiting to happen na lang. Example, aiming a revolver at another with intent to shoot or opening a knife and making a motion as if to attack. Now, assuming considered na yung act na unlawful aggression, kailan dapat siya naroon para pasok siya sa self-defense? Unlawful aggression must also be a continuing circumstance or must have been existing at the time the defense is made. Dapat meron yung unlawful aggression the same time na pinagtanggol mo ang sarili mo. Once the unlawful aggression is found to have ceased, the one making the defense would likewise cease to have any justification for killing or even just wounding the former aggressor. Example, si Serafin pumunta sa bahay ni Nahum, ang kanyang mortal na kaaway. Pagdating ni Serafin sa bahay ni Nahum, hinamon niya ng away si Nahum at pinapalabas ito sa kanyang bahay. Si Nahum naman ay hindi lumabas sa bahay niya ngunit tinawag ang kanyang kapatid na si Pedro upang magpatulong. Si Pedro ang lumabas ng bahay at nakipag-usap kay Serafin na umalis na lamang ito. Sa halip na umalis, ang ginawa ni Serafin ay sinubukan niyang tagain si Pedro at sinubukan pumasok sa gate ng bahay ni Nahum. Si Nahum naman para hindi makapasok si Serafin, pinupok niya ng itak sa ulo si Serafin. Pagkatama kay Serafin, agad itong umuwi. Si Pedro naman ay bumalik ng bahay at naghanap ng itak. Ang ginawa ni Pedro ay hinabol niya ngayon si Serafin na pauwi na. Noong nahabol ni Pedro si Serafin, tinaga ni Pedro si Serafin. Si Serafin ay namatay. May self-defense ba in favor of Pedro? Ang sagot ay wala, dahil wala na yung first element, which is unlawful aggression. Sa problem natin, si Serafin ang unang nanakit, tama? Kaya gumanti lang yung dalawa. Ngunit nung gaganti na si Pedro kay Serafin, si Serafin ay pauwi na. Sabi natin kanina, yung unlawful aggression dapat ay actual or at least imminent. Dapat on the action sinasaktan ni Serafin or sasaktan na siya ni Serafin, tsaka si Pedro lumaban. Noong tinaga ni Pedro si Serafin, wala nang unlawful aggression para i-defend ni Pedro ang sarili niya. Kailan naman walang unlawful aggression? First, when two persons agreed to fight. Wala pong unlawful aggression kung nag-agree kayong mag-away. So kung walang unlawful aggression, walang self-defense kung yung isa napatay niya yung isa. Second, a playful kick at the foot by way of greeting between friends may be practical joke and may even hurt, but it is not a serious or real attack on person's safety. So kung pa-joke lang na sinipa ka, hindi yun enough na provocation to attack or defend yourself. Now let us discuss the second requisite of self-defense. The second requisite of self-defense is reasonable necessity of the means employed. This second element talks about yung ginamit mo sa pag-defend sa sarili mo. Kailangan bang parehas na kung paano ka inatake, ganun mo din dapat i-defend ang sarili mo? Ang sagot ng Supreme Court ay, it is settled that reasonable necessity of the means employed does not imply material commensurability between the means of attack and defense. What the law requires is rational equivalence, in the consideration of which will enter as principal factors the emergency, the imminent danger to which the person attacked is exposed, and the instinct, more than the reason, that moves or impels the defense, and the proportionateness thereof does not depend upon the harm done, but rests upon the imminent danger of such injury. So, hindi po kailangang parehas. Nakadepende ito sa madaming factors. What is the test of reasonableness of the means employed? Para masabi nating reasonable yung means employed niya, kailangan nating i-consider itong mga ito. Una, armado ba yung biktima? Pangalawa, kung armado, anong klase o kalidad ang armas niya? Pangatlo, yung pangangatawan at kalusugan ng akusado at ang biktima. So kung sinuntok ka ng biktima at ikaw naman, binaril mo siya bilang depensa sa sarili mo, hindi siya pasok sa self-defense. Kasi sinuntok ka lang naman, ba't mo babarilin? Kumbaga hindi at least proportionate yung ginamit mo sa ginamit niya. However, kung ikaw ay lampa, sakitin, sobrang payat at walang lakas, we can argue na justified yung paggamit mo ng baril. Kasi pag sikli kang tao o mahina physically, regardless of force ng sumuntok sa'yo, iba ang sakit nun at effect nun sa'yo compared sa healthy na tao. Now let us discuss the third requisite of self-defense. The third requisite of self-defense is lack of sufficient provocation. Ano nga ba itong provocation? Provocation means the act of inciting another to do something, especially to commit a crime. Therefore, sa self-defense, dapat yung nagde-defend ng sarili niya o yung akusado ay hindi niya ginalit o prinovoke yung victim para atakihin siya. Or kung ginalit man niya or prinovoke, hindi dapat yon enough reason para atakihin ng victim yung akusado. Ulitin natin. Kung may sufficient provocation, meaning walang self-defense. Kasi yung accused ang unang nag-provoke sa victim para atakihin siya. Dapat wala or hindi sufficient. What is the quantum of proof required in self-defense? Self-defense to be successfully invoked must be proven by clear and convincing evidence. that excludes any vestige of criminal aggression on the part of the person invoking it. Hindi required ang proof beyond reasonable doubt. Ang required if you invoke self-defense is clear and convincing evidence. It is an evidence which is less than proof beyond reasonable doubt for criminal cases but greater than preponderance of evidence for civil cases. Clear and convincing evidence means that the evidence presented by a party during the trial must be highly and substantially more probable to be true than not, and the trier of fact must have a firm belief or conviction in its factuality. Dapat more than kapanipaniwala ang evidence mo na may self-defense kaysa walang self-defense. Sino ngayon ang may tungkulin na patunayan by clear and convincing evidence na may self-defense nga? Si akusado ba o yung prosecutor o taga-usig? Ang sagot ay, when an accused admits harming the victim but invokes self-defense to escape criminal liability, the accused assumes the burden to establish his plea by credible, clear, and convincing evidence. Otherwise, conviction would follow from his admission that he harmed the victim. Pag in-invoke kasi natin ang self-defense, inaamin na rin po natin na tayo talaga yung pumatay o nagkasala. So, dapat tayo din ang magpuprove na nagawa lang natin yon dahil dinipensahan natin ang sarili natin. Ngayon, kung hindi natin na-prove by clear and convincing evidence na may self-defense nga, necessarily convicted ka na for the crime you committed. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to share it and to subscribe.